What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates, and this is your review for The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 2. So we pick up where we left off with Mia pretty much saying to Giselle, if you feel that I was doing all this, pretty much faking cancer and all that stuff for attention, F you. I can't actually say it because, I mean, I'm less than 30 seconds into the video. So Eskimo, Candace, and Wendy join the women, and I know her name is Escala. Okay, I'm just over here, having jokes and whatnot. Y'all see me channeling El Teddy? That's right, that's right. Anyway, Robin says, she had hoped when it all popped off that everything was on the up and up and whatnot with Mia, but because of how the post was and she left it so open ended, it's almost like you have invited this attention. So what that translated to me is I need to stick up for my friend. So that was her way of doing it, even if that is how she felt. You can let Giselle talk, but you're not going to do that because you know that she can't stand on her own when it comes to conversation. Wendy asks Mia, did the Green Eye buffoons say that? Robin gets upset and says, y'all are not going to make it seem like Robin and Giselle, speaking about yourself in the third person. I mean, I do it, but again, I'm crazy, so I don't know about her, has a problem with the pose. And then Robin starts telling on everybody, this one had a problem, this one had a problem, this one had a problem. I mean, I'm not mad that she did it, but at the same exact time, it's just like, well, was that really warranted? And you're only telling on everyone else because you putting your foot in your mouth and you're making a mountain out of a molehill rather than just sit in it and own your stuff. Let me get everybody else involved, and it didn't do what she wanted it to do. So Mia's friend says, this is about cancer, somebody's real life. Cherie slides in. Mia's friend says, because Raquel said it's open ended. She and her friend Jacqueline was like, yeah, and this is open ended. She still doesn't know, and there's an awkward energy between Cherise and Karen, and Karen's like, you know what, I'm just being cordial. So Robin, we find out, invited Cherise because we know that Karen didn't do it, and Robin's whole thing is, well, you said I can invite somebody. And this is one of those where don't play coy, don't play stupid. You know exactly what it is that you were doing. Whatever. So Katie arrives. I was like, sorry for so rise. Love me some Katie. Love me Kooky Katie. I love Katie. Cherise pulls Karen to the side and she says to her that she wants to talk to her. She misses her. Karen's like, yeah, we can talk. And I'm looking at Karen like, damn well you ain't trying to have no conversation with this woman. But I mean, it's your event. You ain't trying to pop it off. You trying to keep it cute. So I understand. And then Candace and Ashley are having a moment, which again, I'm sorry, y'all know I really don't forgive easily. I really don't. And if I do find it in myself to forgive you, I'm not fucking with you. Especially if I feel as if or know that you went out of your way to destroy my life. I want nothing to do with you. And outside of business, that's the only time we being cordial. Only time. But anyway, they're having a moment, whatever. Giselle tells Katie that Ray had a crush on her, when they did the whole newlywed game. I believe that was last season. And kooky ass Katie goes over there and grabs this man, Ray, on his behind, starts rubbing on his head. You have Ray grinning like a catfish, smiling like a Cheshire cat. I'm just like, oh, this man was happy. Because again, that was his crush. Okay, he was happy. I'm like, oh, Lordy. Karen gives a speech. Candace has to go to the Grammys. I guess I was supposed to write something because there's a blank space. Whatever. So no. So we get some mini scenes with the ladies and whatnot. The only scene that I cared about talking about was Wendy. Wendy was talking with her sons and telling her sons like, yeah, I'm teaching y'all to be independent, like how to cook for yourselves because y'all don't need to be looking at a woman to do for you. And I appreciate that. Like, teach your boys to be solely independent. So, because again, when you don't, then they go out looking for their mamas in terms of doing everything for them and they women, and that's not, good for the woman. Like, you are literally creating a codependent y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I don't even have to say it, right? Okay, cool. We get Candace and her sister Crystal. We find out that Crystal is having her house built. Her family found the property for her. I'm sitting here like generational wealth. You gotta love it. As much as they want to sit here and shame Candace him about it, you gotta love it. All right, especially when you can see with some of the women how they're trying to do that for their children, but they're mad because Candace is getting it out and says she ain't have to put herself in certain situations to get it. Yeah, so Candace is still in school, so she's doing a lot. She's still in school, she's being a music artist, like trying to have a baby, doing the whole nine. So she's doing a lot. I just hope that she doesn't, work herself to exhaustion. She talks about freezing her eggs, and she does say that at the end of the year, she wants to try for a normal pregnancy. Them just doing it naturally, but of course, the eggs and the embryos is, down the line, if this doesn't work, or if 5-10 years later she decides that she wants to have, children, better with younger, more youthful eggs than whatever the eggs will be when she is of whatever age. Lets us know that she wants 2 children, and what the hell. Oh, they talk about Chris's schedule, and him being tired, her being tired. So it's like, if both of y'all tired, not to say y'all can't rub one out, but that seems like that's gonna be a little bit difficult. And I know that she's wondering how are they going to take care of a child if they're both busy. Y'all gonna have to figure it out. But if you have the financial means, get a nanny. Just saying. Modern solution for modern day problems. We get Ashley and my boy Dylan. All right, and she has her friend Deborah over. I was so happy to see my boy Dylan over there. All right, I'm like, all right, Black King. All right, I see you. I feel you. Now, Dean, we find out is doing better at school drop off. So apparently he was cutting the food, didn't want to go off to school. Now he hopping out the car to go to school. Good. Go ahead and, finish getting your doctorate degree. All right. Go ahead and do that, Pimpin'. Go ahead. They talk Michael and divorce. She says that she doesn't sleep in the same room with him. She sleeps in the room with Dylan. Deb says, don't they say it's cheaper to keep it? Yeah. Yeah, who was it? Johnny Taylor. I think it was Johnny Taylor. That's that old school. That's that old school. Some of y'all don't know about that. Y'all know the phrase, but y'all don't know the song. Ashley says she's still not drinking, even though she did have at least one shot at the spring party. But whatever. Again, you do what you got to do. I'm just pointing out the inconsistency. Michael wants to stay in the high rise. She says that she doesn't want a date. TikTok is her therapy, and she wants to host a high heels dance class. That kind of. So it's like her doing dance on the TikTok. Oh, I want to get my friends involved. Okay, cool, whatever. So we get Giselle and Robin, and now they're at the coffee shop, but from the outside, I swear it looked like a car shop. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe it used to be and they redid it. I'm just saying the obvious. That's what it looked like to me. Anyway, Robin gives hats for Giselle's girls, says that she has a bone to pick with her, and that was the house slip comment that I didn't mention it last episode. But when she was talking to Ashley, talking about some, you don't get a house with somebody you divorce, and like Robin has a house and Juan's name isn't on it, and it's like, well, I don't really know if that was a slip, but anyway, she lets us know his name isn't on the house because their rate would have went up because his credit score still hasn't recovered from the foreclosure they had. So Giselle sends a text to Mia asking to talk. Robin tells her and us that, she met with Ashley the previous day. Ashley reveals that, Chris sent her a message at 2:42 in the morning inviting her to the W. Now, she is pretty much saying he slid into my DM, he slid into my DM, and I swear I hate that phrase because sometimes somebody can really just be sending you a damn message. When you say slide into DMs, there is a connotation that goes with that, and the reality is he didn't slide into your DMs. What happened is You had your IG story. He made a comment, and that comment does turn into a message, but she's trying to make it seem like he just sent her a message rather than responding to a story. I'm like, oh, you treacherous little thing, you. But again, Candace, mm-hmm, you want to be friends with her. So Giselle says, well, Chris slides into my DMs too. Now we don't hit nothing about that particular statement later on, but anyway, she says it's uncomfortable for her. She says that at the reunion, Chris asked to talk to her in her dressing room. No one was there because she thought that her glam team would be there, and that he was drunk and was just talking about Candace. And Giselle felt that he was trying to see, was she with it? Now, I don't give Robin much, but she was just like, I don't see that. And she was really asking, like, is this, is this that? Is he doing this? And Giselle kept shooting it down. And I felt like Giselle was getting mad that Robin wasn't feeding into it. Because it's like, yeah, this is kind of killing your storyline. Now, here's what I'm going to say about that. if Big ass if Giselle felt uncomfortable, she has every right to feel that way. She really does. You can't you can't negate how somebody feels. But again, Giselle's track record very questionable. What I'm going to say is the optics do not look good, regardless of how close y'all may be, especially when it deals with this show. Like first, and I'm gonna keep it a bud. If she felt uncomfortable, and again, I'm not blaming nobody, but she could have left the door open. The door did not have to be closed. At the same time, Chris should have never been in a room with a door closed with her. Like that's one of those where unless there is another party there to ensure ain't nothing crazy going on, you leave the door open. And in the climate that we live in, like that is not cool because you leave a lot up to interpretation. Because if Giselle really wanted to, she could have called foul. But the other part of this is because we're all thinking it, if that was the case, why now? Now, and for me, I would ask that if why wasn't that brought up on the first episode? That's my question. Because I understand why it wasn't brought up because they weren't shooting, and obviously you don't want to bring that up because you need something for a storyline. So here we go. So I'm not upset that she waited to the show to bring it up or whatever. I'm just like, why are we waiting to episode 2? Why we didn't bring this up episode 1? And I know they don't know how the episode's going to be cut up, but why didn't you say that when you first saw her? All right. Anyway, we get Ray and Karen. So she had a checkup earlier in the episode where they were just making sure that everything with her breast, was settling right. She talks to Ray. Ray, whole thing is he just feels a way about women doing, young women doing that and seeing that because like Karen says, with like young girls do look up to her. So his whole thing is if young women, but he primarily was saying their daughter. He doesn't want her looking at her mom like, oh, this is something to do. But guess what, bruh? I understand it. I really do. But hey, at the end of the day, your daughter grown. That's her body. And as a man, we should not be sitting here trying to regulate a woman's body. But I understand where he's coming from. And that was a real quick scene, which I'm just like, and look, I don't like Karen, but Karen, look, Sharice finna give you a storyline because this right here ain't hidden. So we get Mia and Gordon. They're at a shop, like a little restaurant or whatever. They talk about opening another joint chiropractic location in DC. Knowing what we know now, Jacqueline, her friend, joins. She's known her since they were 15. They play like they're a throuple. There are some friendship relationships that are like that. I'ma just leave that where it's at. I don't feel no way about that. I can't judge. So shut up. So we find out that there's further testing that needs to be done post the biopsy. Jacqueline felt that Karen was trying to cover her ass. And Mia shares that Karen sent her a text message the day of the event as she is coming there, not only inviting her to the party, but also giving her a warning about what was discussed. And here's what I'm going to say about that. On one hand, Mia, Karen did talk to you and let you know that questions were being had and what her stance was. And now she could have given you a heads up the other time she talked to you, but she gave you a heads up right before you came. Does that seem a little bit suspect to me? It does, especially seeing that's how y'all had previous conversations. So why are you letting this woman know like minutes or maybe like an hour before she's getting to the event? So it does look a little shaky, but meh, whatever. And she says that she left Giselle on red. I'm like, that's cute. Cause shit, that's better than me. I'm about to tell y'all all my damn business. Y'all see that big red one over? Wait, where my finger at? Right here, messages. That message was sent back in mid March by someone. I saw it because it popped in my notifications. I ain't open that mug. And that person has an iPhone just like me. Oh, I saw it. I'm not finna open it. I'm not giving you that fucking satisfaction. I told y'all, don't fuck with me. I am Pat and T. Okay. So we get Ashley and Candace. Ashley wants to tell Candace 101 about what happened with no orders, and we flash back to her telling her about writing the character statement. And again, I have no qualms with what Ashley did. My thing is for Candace, if you feel that this woman betrayed you like that, why are you even trying to entertain another relationship with this woman? But like I said, when the curtain falls and we find out that they still together, Candace, whatever you get on the receiving end is what you get. Candace says that she had a good time at the Grammys. Other artists want to work with her. That is good. The re-release of her album, I'm glad she clarified it. So she's pretty much doing a deluxe version. That sometimes happens where you have artists that release their album, and typically these are artists where the album did some numbers. No shade on Candace. And then that's when they will do a re-release and change it. Like with Rihanna, you had Good Girl Gone Bad. Then she had, I believe it was Good Girl Gone Bad Reloaded, where you had Disturbia, Take About, and maybe like one or two other songs. So you had, or like with Lady Gaga, when she did The Fame, and then came back with The Fame Monster. So you know that does happen. Cool, whatever. Ashley shares the whole IG message thing. Candace lets her know, okay, Chris was still at work, and that probably was just him trying to get more hip people to come to the restaurant. I'm gonna say this again: if that's the case, there is a more formal way to sit here and invite people to stuff. Because again, optics, you don't, and it's like you don't want to give nobody an inch to take them out. You don't want to do that. But Candace says that she can see from Ashley's perspective how this could be crazy, and she's choosing to believe this isn't shady. Now, look, this is very big of Candace. Granted, we shouldn't be sitting here rewarding people for shit they should be doing, but this is big of her because y'all know Candace can, go all the way left. And she ain't do that. She ain't do that. And she says she go get one benefit of the doubt token. Now, Candace put that on a shirt. Benefit of the doubt token. Put it on the shirt. So now we get Ashley and her little high heels party. Karen has a fever. Now, in general, when I read that, I didn't believe it. I really did. But then Robin is the first to show up. To my surprise, Sharice is invited, and Robin feels Karen was probably tipped off about that, and that's the reason she wasn't there. I can believe it. And we find out that Sharice has been trying to reach out to Karen to have this convo, but nothing. Giselle and Ashley talk about the whole house thing. As they're beginning the conversation, Sharice joins them. And I'm going to just say this. I really feel like this was just something for them to talk, because you even had Robin say, so does anybody have anything they want to say to anybody? This like lets you know it was all a scene for the show. It really was. But all I'm gonna say is this: Ashley was just like, Michael hasn't cheated on me, and they all look. And she was like, lately. But then she also said, and he hasn't had an outside baby on me. That was directed at Giselle. I don't know why Giselle didn't take it, but I guess maybe Giselle didn't say nothing because it's just like, I don't know how to respond to this, and this is getting a little bit too real. So they, pretty much let it go. And Sharice is here for it, just like, okay, so you don't have enough money to do it. Oh, but he got the funds, and in essence, is let's get all this set up before we do the whole divorce thing. Because, like I said, when all of this goes down, so let's just say, for instance, if she leaves with $5 million, right? And I know that's a little. I'm just saying $5 million. Now you got to take that and tack that onto the house when You can get the house, it's in the LLC, and it's there for you and your children, and then you still walk away with the 5,000. I'm just saying, or maybe a little less than five, but y'all get what I'm saying. So they begin stretching. Candace joins, then Mia, then Wendy. Mia whole thing is she again she left Giselle on red, and it's because of disrespect. So now since she's been disrespected, I'm not gonna respond to you, and we're back to booking an appointment. And if y'all want to know what that was, they kind of felt like that was Mia's whole air last season. That's what Giselle and Robin felt. So as they're dancing, look, Wendy got moves. She like her hips, they work. Okay. Giselle is doing some old woman moves, like some church woman moves. Sharice is stiff as a board. And Robin, I believe that for Terrace. Anyway, Candace and Giselle talk because Giselle wants to talk to her, and she lets Robin know, like, because all the other women went back into like the lobby area having cupcakes and champagne, and Giselle pretty much dismisses Robin. So Giselle brings up Chris, DM, and Ashley. So this is the segue, like, well, he's doing that, and and he made me feel uncomfortable. And as she's explaining the story, Candace's like, okay, did he say something? Did he do something? And she's like, no. And then she says that Kyle, her stylist, felt that it was very weird because Kyle allegedly felt this was a setup because Chris had already said goodbye to him before he asked to speak with Giselle. So even he feels that there was some foul play there. And Candace like, so we're doing Chris. And Candace gets up, leaves. She's asking for Chris. She needs to talk to her husband and get his side over this, that, and the third. Because she's even just like, what are we doing? Like, she's really looking at Giselle like, I'm the target. And she's even, there's points where you can see her looking at cameras, looking at production. Candace is like, oh. But here's the reality, Candace, you always been in her crosshairs. You always have. And when Monique slipped up and took the bait and put her hands on you, they she redirected her attention back to Monique, got Monique off. Last season happened with her and Wendy. Now it's back on you. And that's it. So that's all I got. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all know the panel is tomorrow. Simply Sakina's channel. Make sure whatever y'all bring. Now look, y'all know she vegan. So if anything, if you gonna bring a dish, bring two. Okay. You bring the big dish for everybody else, then you bring a small little vegan dish for her. Okay, don't be rude. Okay, we gotta be respectful when we come up in her house. Okay, all right. So I will see you all tomorrow for the panel where we're gonna cut up. So with that being said, please rate, comment, share. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. I don't forget what I was supposed to say. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.